everybody, and welcome to the Wake Up to Ultimate Freedom Success Code. My name is Natalie, and I'll be here supporting our host Katie throughout this week. Now, before we bring her on, I just want to take care of some housekeeping items, starting with workbooks. So if you don't already have a workbook, just go ahead and post in the chat below, just the word workbook, and we will make sure to send you a link so that you can get registered and get yourself a workbook. It's really important to be involved and really delve deep into the material, so a workbook will be super helpful with that. Now, going along with being involved and being active in the comments, we want you to be involved, and we definitely want to see all of your comments and questions. So feel free to introduce yourself, say hello, post any questions and comments in the chat. We have plenty of fun prizes to give away and do draws and stuff for everybody that's active. So we'd love to see you interact. And all of your questions, if they don't get answered immediately, don't be alarmed. We are doing a Q&A on Friday, so we're going to be collecting all of the questions and then answering them then. So stay tuned to have them all answered on Friday. Also, with these draws and everything, we want to know who you are. So make sure to allow StreamYard permission in order for your name to actually pop up in the chat. If not, you'll just show up as Facebook user. So we want to know who you are so that we can add you into these draws and make you eligible to win these fun prizes. And speaking of fun prizes, it's not too late to invite your family and friends to join this group to enter into the draw for a $50 Amazon gift card. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I love Amazon. I'm all about it. So this is a huge prize for me. And if you want to be entered, just feel free to invite any of your family and friends into the group. And this draw for the gift card will actually be done on Thursday. Now, that's pretty much all the housekeeping items I have to go over. So with all of that being said, I'm going to hand it over to our wonderful host, Katie.
Thank you so much, Natalie, and thank you, everybody. I see that somebody said good morning, and it says Facebook user. So good morning to you all. If you want me to see your name, please just allow StreamYard permission so that I can actually acknowledge you. I would love to be able to do that. So, freedom. How many people here are looking for freedom? Freedom to be able to live your life on your terms the way that you want. Put a 1 in the post for me and let me know. To have no limitations. To have nothing getting in the way of spending the time that you want with the people you want to spend it with no inhibitions or anything at all. Hey, Lauren, how you doing? What is your dream? What is it that you want? I want you to really think about that for a moment here, because a lot of us don't allow ourselves to dream, but using your imagination and dreaming big is something that is really required to really get you to achieve what it is you want in life. You can have, be, do anything that you want in life, and it all starts with using your imagination and dreaming big. And what I've found is many people, in fact, most people, stop using their imagination. They stop dreaming. And this is where we fall short, because it's through the imagination that gets us to create our lives. When you think about children, even when you were a child, right? Children, they're always using their imagination. A lot of times you get them gifts and they grab the wrapper or the box that the gifts come in, and that's what they start using. And they're using their imaginations all the time. I know with my children, they're constantly using their imagination. They're building forts, they're building castles, they're becoming doctors, firemen, police trucks. I know my son, he's got such an imagination. He is always becoming something different. One day he's Superman, the next day he's Spider-Man, the next day he's a dog, the next day he's a lion. I mean, he's got such an imagination, and I absolutely love that, because this is what we need, right? To be creative, to think like a child. But what happens is when we get into adulthood, our imaginations go dormant and we stop using it. And when we stop using our imagination, we literally stop dreaming. You know, I think about my daughter, she's 9 years old. And this is right around the time where kids start going to school, and the teachers will start saying to them as their mind starts to wander, hey, pay attention, get your head out of the clouds, stop daydreaming. And so we've sort of been conditioned to think that, okay, I need to pay attention, I need to think logically here. And we stop using our imaginations. When you think about anybody who's accomplished anything of any significance, they have all used their imaginations to accomplish great things. And those people were no different than you, than me. The only thing that separated us was that they were able to use their imagination in a creative way, right? You know, it's interesting. Einstein says that the imagination is more important than knowledge. Did you catch what I just said there? Imagination is more important than knowledge, because he realizes that knowledge is only going to take you so far. Logically thinking is only going to take you so far. You have to be able to tap in to the higher creative faculties that us as humans have, that separates us from the rest of the animal kingdom, right? When you look at everything else in the world that's living, a carrot seed has no choice but to grow into a carrot. An acorn has no choice but to grow into a tree. A bunny has no choice but to grow into a rabbit, where he nibbles, drinks, eats, poops, and hops around, right? But humans, we have been gifted higher faculties that allow us to create our own life. When you see a calf that's first born, within minutes that calf is up walking. But humans, no, we don't, because we evolve, we grow, we progressively grow, we create whatever it is that we want to create. But many people aren't aware of that, and so they're stuck, right? Constantly looking at their existing circumstances, what's around them, what they can see, their five sensory factors, what they can see, smell, hear, taste, touch. And they're not using the gifts that have been given to us to allow us to create our lives. I mean, Einstein was a genius. So when he says that the imagination is more important than knowledge, heed to this. Really take that in and think. Think about how serious this is. Make the decision that you're going to start using your imagination again. You're going to become like a child. You're going to start thinking about what it is that you want and not worrying about the how. Don't worry about how you're going to get what it is that you want. I just want you to dream. Dream big. Think about what you want. These are success principles that most successful people are utilizing and they're using. Now, they don't teach us this in school. But this is the stuff that is going to get you the freedom that you're looking for. Okay? The key to unlocking your purpose is to dream big and start using your imagination. That's the way out. Now, some of you may be saying, I'm too old. It's too late for me. Or you don't know my life. You don't know my situation, my circumstances. Lies. Those are all limiting beliefs that have been holding you back. And what other limiting beliefs are stopping you. I mean, listen, as long as you have air in your lungs and you are alive, it's never too late to start living your dreams. It's never too late. It took me 43 years to figure this out. I mean, I was initially, before understanding this information that I'm going to be sharing with you this week, I was living in scarcity. I was constantly living, worrying about my kids, worrying about my family, my loved ones, worrying about how am I ever going to have enough, right? I mean, I was on my own at the age of 17, moved to the big city of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, became a single mother by the age of 22 with my first daughter, and she was premature. I had her at when I was 7 months pregnant. And while I was on maternity leave, I ended up having to go on welfare because my company went bankrupt. And so I had no other choice. I had to go on welfare. And at the time, it actually seemed like a blessing in disguise because she was a preemie. She had some developmental delays, and it just allowed me to really focus on dealing with her and just taking care of her. And so that's what I did, for the first few years of her life. And then I decided to go to college because I didn't want to go back to the telemarketing company that I was working at. And I was making like $10 an hour. And it's interesting because I knew I didn't want to go back there. And so when the company went bankrupt and it forced me to go on welfare, I actually looked at it as a blessing because then it allowed me to really be serious and think, what is it that I want to do? Right? And so I went to college and I got a diploma. And at that point, I ended up getting a job in insurance and things were good. It was okay, but I was still living paycheck to paycheck. I was nowhere near financial freedom by any means. And I've got this wonderful daughter of mine that I want to raise. And I start thinking, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to do more to provide for her? And so I decided, well, I got to get extra income. And so at that point, I got into fitness modeling and became a professional cheerleader and did that for a few years. Met my now husband in the process. And so we bought our first property together. And once we did that, we started life together. And I just started to live. By this point, I've now got 5 children. We're working. We decide, we got 5 kids. We really got to think on how we're going to provide something for them long term. And so we purchased our first investment property. And my husband, both of us worked full-time jobs. So he would be the one, he would do all the renovations, and it was out of town. So that meant that, he had to go out of town to do the rentals. I was home with the kids and I still had my full-time job working in insurance. And I just felt like, man, something, it's got to be, something's got to be easier than this. I don't want to be a single mother again. I don't want to have to be holding down the fort, although I'm doing it. But, I want my husband home. I want us doing this together. There's got to be a better way, right? And then COVID hits. So this was early 2020. When COVID hits, I'm an essential worker, so is my husband. And so that meant we both still had to work. But what it also meant was everything was shut down here in Canada. There was no daycares, no schools. So that meant I was home with 4 children under the age of 8. My last one still nursing and literally sucking the life out of me as I'm working on my computer at work, and I got to say that was one of the most challenging points of my life because here I was, I'm having to work full time. My husband's away working. I've got all these kids, they start fighting. They're driving each other crazy. And I'm just like, I had gained so much weight. I had just become so angry and frustrated. And I mean, it was just, it got to a monotony in life where I would drag myself out of bed, hit the snooze button, few times before getting out. And it would just be the same day on a different day. You get up, you get ready, you get the kids up, you get them ready, you make breakfast, you tell them, I put on the television because they're all home at me and with me, and I still have to work. So I'm jumping on the computer, they're fighting, I'm having to run and separate. I mean, I was just at a point where I was like, why is this happening to me? I just want my life back. And at this point, I realized that when we finished the renovations on one of our properties and we wanted to get into getting our next property, I thought, listen, because when we bought that first investment property, we just jumped into the market. We didn't know what we were doing, and I realized that there's got to be an easier way. So I sought mentorship. And when I sought the mentorship, my mentor basically said, listen, I know you guys want to do this. I know you want to scale your real estate, but it really starts with personal development. It starts with working on you. And I fought this initially because I was like, listen, like just give me the spreadsheet. Like just give me the formula. I don't need to worry about personal development stuff. We just give me the information that I can, get this real estate stuff going. And he was really insistent, like, no, like if you really want to make big changes, you got to work on your personal development. And so being an effective listener, I took his advice. I mean, it took me a minute, but I took his advice. And when I started delving into personal development, that's when my whole life changed, turned around completely. It was like stepping out of a dark tunnel into a bright light. I was what you call an unconscious incompetent, where I just didn't know what I didn't know. And the moment I got into personal development and started realizing that, wait a minute, you are where you are in life right now because of you, because of your choices, because of the decisions that you made and the things that you're thinking about. And you can change this. This is what my mentor, Bob Proctor, who I invested in mentorship with, because once I got word of this, about personal development, I then became hungry for more knowledge. I wanted to learn more. And so I sought out the best teachers out there. And the number one teacher alive today on human potential and success is Bob Proctor. And so that's who I went to for mentorship. And Bob was like, you can have anything you want. You can create anything you want. And the moment I realized that, but wait, it's all me? I immediately took responsibility for where I was in life, immediately took responsibility and made the decision that I'm going to live my best life. I am going to dream, and I am going to dream big. And that's what I did. And I can tell you that investing in myself, I have more than doubled the returns on this. And so I promise you, you may be thinking that you're too old. You may be thinking that you are in a position where you can't see a way out. If I can do it, believe me, you can do it. And if you don't have the belief in yourself right now, then I want you to do what I had to do initially. I want you to borrow my belief in you until you build it for yourself. Because I had to borrow belief in Bob initially, because I mean, dreaming big and not knowing how, because that's what he says. You don't need to know how. That's not your business right now. You only need to dream. What is it that you want? What do you want? And it's got to be big, bigger than you. And you don't know, you won't know how to get it. And in fact, you shouldn't know how to get it, because if you know it's not big enough, it's not going to cause you to stretch. The whole point of a goal is to grow, not to get. Earl Nightingale put it beautifully when he said, the definition of success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And so what that really means is you are growing, and that's what you're doing. You're becoming a new person. It's not a matter of getting it. It's taking action that makes you a success. So if you see somebody who says, you know what, it's my goal to be the best mother that I could possibly be in this world, and that's what they set out to do, they're successful. A teacher who says, I want to teach because I want to influence children in their lives. And she sets out to do it. She does it, and she's doing the best that she can. She is successful. A student who decides there's a profession that they want, they enroll in school to do it, they're excited, they're taking action, they are successful. It's a progressive thing. And so you only need to take action and you are successful. And so when I say dream and dream big, what is that fantasy? What is it that you've always wanted? Dream big. There's only two questions that you need to answer to turn that fantasy of yours into a theory. Am I able and am I willing? So let's tackle the first question. Am I able? When you look at all the greats out there who've accomplished anything big, I mean, look at us. Here I am. I sit before you in front of a laptop. There's people from all over. Put in the chat where you're from, what country you're from. I'd love to see that. There's people from all over the world that I'm able to talk to because somebody dared to dream and make this a reality. Right? Think about Steve Jobs. He dreamed about making a glass so thin that he could use his finger to touch and utilize and do what you wanted on this phone. He had a panel of experts telling him, that's impossible. You can't do that. But Steve knew that if he could see it on the screen of his mind, he could hold it in his hand. And so he accepted no excuses. He accepted nothing other than just get it done. Think about Thomas Edison and the incandescent light. He didn't know how he was going to do it. It had never been done before. But he had a dream. And he knew, he understood. He didn't need to worry about the how. He only needed to make the decision that he was going to do this. He made the decision and he took action on it. And let me tell you, he tried dozens of times and it didn't come through. Hundreds of times, still nothing. Virginia, I'm seeing all the people where they're from. Nebraska, Oshawa. Hey, Doug, good to see you. The point I'm trying to make here is anybody who has done anything big didn't know how they were going to do it. That's not what is needed right now. They only made the decision that they were going to do it. And so are you able? Unequivocally, absolutely, yes, you are able. So the next question you want to ask yourself is, am I willing? Am I willing to pay the price to do what it takes to accomplish my dream? Hi, Ingrid from London. Wonderful. Am I willing? Now, when I say am I willing, I'm not asking you to sacrifice a lamb or your firstborn child here. I'm simply asking you to give up something of lesser value in exchange for a greater good. And so that might mean, hey, I'm willing to go to bed a little bit earlier because I know that I need to wake up a little bit earlier to put some study in to accomplish this dream of mine. Are you willing to do that? If you can answer yes to those two questions, you can take your fantasy and turn it into a theory. Make the decision. Once you make the decision, your brain gets flipped onto a higher frequency of thought. And you start attracting the necessary thoughts that you need to help give you the answers and the ideas on how you're going to make this a reality. You start tapping into the higher faculty of your imagination and your reasoning mind. You see, we have actually 6 mental faculties: imagination, intuition, reason, perception, the will, and memory. And so when you make the decision to turn it into a theory and you start tapping into the faculty of imagination and reason, the reason gives you the ability to think to the exclusion, to think on one thing to the exclusion of all else. And so when you start tapping into this and start developing the necessary ideas that you need, and you start focusing your attention on this theory, guess what happens? Where you put your attention is where you put your energy. And the only thing that can grow is the thing that you give energy to. So if you are giving energy to this theory of yours that was once a dream, once a fantasy, but now you've decided I'm doing this, and so it's a theory, and you start thinking about it, and the thoughts start compounding, like-minded thoughts start getting attracted, that had you not made the decision, you wouldn't have been able to get these thoughts, right? You start doing that. All of a sudden, you start feeling good. And the more you start to feel good, feeling is the language of our subconscious mind. See, we've got a mind that controls our body. The subconscious mind. We've got two parts of our mind, actually. We've got the conscious mind, and then we've got the subconscious mind. Now, the subconscious mind is what gets us to act. It's what gets us our results. And it goes based on your feeling. And so if you're getting emotionally involved in this fantasy that you've turned into a theory, and you're feeling good about it, you're thinking about it every day, and you start getting emotionally involved, you impress that feeling onto the subconscious mind, it then changes your state of vibration that you're in, your body, and it causes you to act differently. Now, this is all done subconsciously. You're not actually aware of that this is happening, but this is what happens. When you start to act differently, the universe reacts to this different action, right? You start changing things around you, your circumstances, the universe, literally, your circumstances, conditions, environments gets altered based on this new feeling that you're in. And guess what happens to that theory? That theory eventually becomes a fact. This is what happens when you dream, and you dream big. You turn your dream into a reality by understanding how to use the universal laws that govern us to your advantage. See, life is a game. And when you understand how to play by the game of life, if you know the rules, you can win it. Right? It's not understanding that keeps us stuck and keeps us, just not understanding it. But listen, you must have a goal if you want to achieve freedom. It's an absolute must. You must have a goal, because without a goal, you're lost. It's like you're just like a ship without a rudder, being tossed from side to side, allowing external things to dictate how you're going to feel, how you're going to act. You don't get into your car and just start driving without a destination, right? You don't go to a restaurant and sit down and not make a decision on what you're going to eat. You eventually make the decision. But many of us live our lives without any direction, without any purpose. And this is what keeps us stuck. You gotta have a goal. We are goal-seeking organisms. We are designed to strive for more. We live in a world of laws, and one law is create or disintegrate. There's no standing still. We are all simply a mass of energy, and everything is vibrating around us. We are vibrating. We're energy. Everything is energy. And so if you're not growing, you're dying. I want to share this quote from Einstein. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality that you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. This is not philosophy. This is physics. So I'm not talking foo-foo here. I mean, this stuff is real, right? If you really want to make changes in your life, you can absolutely do it, but you've got to make the decision. And you've got to say, I'm doing this. You don't need to know how. You just got to commit to it. and you flip your thoughts on a higher frequency, you attract what it is that you need to attract. The how will show itself, because decision equals creation, equals giving you the answers. When you think about the goal and how we are goal-seeking organisms, right? Or goal-seeking people. Let's say, I'm losing my train of thought on what to say there, but just think about a baby, right? Instinctively, the baby has a goal. The baby's goal is to walk, right? That baby gets up, takes a couple steps, falls, gets back up again, falls. How many times does a baby fall? Yes, so true, Facebook user, so true. The baby doesn't say, it's over. I've fallen 50 times already. I'm done. It's just not in the cards for me. I'm not going to walk anymore. No, of course not. That baby keeps getting back up. The baby will fall, bang its head. It keeps getting back up. It keeps getting back up. And it will continue to get back up until that baby walks. That's what you got to do. You got to keep getting back up. You can't have a setback and let that stop you from pushing forward and continuing on. Absolutely not. And some of you say, well, I've failed so many times. I've made so many mistakes. Listen, there are no mistakes in life, only lessons. It's how you respond. But I want you to think about all the greats, right? Think about the Wright brothers. These guys were a couple of bicycle mechanics. They had no formal education, but they had a dream. They wanted to build a contraption that could take one up in the air and move across the earth, called an airplane. They didn't have the knowledge, they didn't have the how, they only had the dream. And while they were actually doing that, it's interesting because at the same time, the media and government was pumping money into the experts who they were investing in, because they were trying to create to get the airplane to work. And so they had invested money into a particular gentleman who had all the accolades, and a panel of engineers who were studying this and trying to figure this out. Meanwhile, these two bicycle mechanics had nothing but a dream. Everybody told them, you're wasting your time. What are you doing? You're not qualified for this. How are you going to do this? You don't even know how. But they knew they didn't need to know the how. It would eventually show itself. Their father told them that they were going to burn in hell. But they kept holding that dream. Edward Hillary was the first person to make it on the top of Mount Everest. Everybody else who had done it before him had died. But he had a dream. He didn't know how, but he had a dream. He wanted this. So he made the decision, I'm doing this. I don't know how, but I'm doing it. He took action. He went to Mount Everest. He attempted that mountain. He didn't make it to the top. But he went back because he held the dream on the vision of his mind. And he knew if he could see it on the screen of his mind, he could hold it in his hand. So he went back and he attempted that mountain again. Didn't make it up again. Now, at this point, his family was pleading with him, please, Edward, enough. You could die here. It's not going to happen. It's impossible. It can't be done. But he had a dream and he wanted it and he could see it on the screen of his mind. And so he accepted nothing more than I'm doing this. So he went back a third time and he made it to the top of that mountain. And there have been countless people afterwards now that have done the same, followed in his footsteps. Thomas Edison and the incandescent light. I talked about him before. Well, he attempted to create the incandescent light 10,000 times. He didn't know how, but he didn't give up. He had a dream. He had a dream and he used his imagination, and he knew that as long as he believed and he held that vision, it was going to happen. And people said to him, Thomas, you failed 10,000 times. What kept you going? And his response was, I didn't fail. I successfully realized that there was 10,000 ways not to do it. It's all about how you respond to these setbacks. But with all of these greats, they saw only the objective. The obstacles had to give way. Martin Luther King had a dream. He didn't have a strategy. He said, I have a dream. Not, I have a plan. I know how. No. He had a dream that one day little black girls and little white boys could hold hands as brothers and sisters. He didn't know how. This was during a time where segregation was so prevalent, but he had a dream. And he held that vision on the screen of his mind. And that dream became a reality. And so I want to tell you, my friends, dream. Dream big. Don't worry about the how. That's none of your business. Your only job is to want it. Answer yes to am I able, am I willing, and make the decision. Now, for those of you who say, listen, I don't even know what I want. I don't know what. I get it. You have been living your life for so long, not allowing yourself to dream because you're looking at your current circumstances. And you're saying, how? How can I dream? I have no money. I have nothing. And you're allowing what's in your existing reality right now to dictate how you feel and how you act. You will never accomplish anything of any consequence as long as you continue to think this way. God has given you more talent and ability that you can ever possibly use in your lifetime, but he's not just going to hand it to you. It's your responsibility to develop it with these creative faculties that separate you from your pets, right? For those of you who have pets, I mean, I have bunnies. My kids have bunnies here. So the bunnies, they go on their sensory factors, on instinct, what they can see, smell, hear, taste, and touch. But many of us are acting like bunnies and doing that. But we have higher faculties that can allow us to create whatever it is that we want. And so this is what I want to show you today. Start tapping in to your higher faculties. Imagination is your redemption from poverty. Imagination is your redemption from sickness. Imagination will give you whatever it is that you want. And so start dreaming, start fantasizing, start using your imagination. And if you don't know, because it's been so long that you've been able to allow yourself to do it, start thinking about what it is that you find enjoyment in. What makes you happy? And start making a list of wants and start writing it down. What would it be? What would you like? What would make your life easier, happier? Start making a list, a shopping list of wants. And it's fun. Get into the feeling of it because feeling is the secret in this all, right? Feeling is the secret. Get a list of wants. Once you have an idea of your list of wants, look through it and pick something and make that your goal. To start, you may find that once you become a little bit more confident in yourself, that may change, and that's okay, but start with something. Because when you have something to wake up to, when you have purpose, when I started doing this and I set myself a goal and realized, wow, I have purpose here, I have meaning, I didn't need the alarm clock anymore because I would get up so excited because I had something to get up for. I had something to look forward to. I'm working towards my dream. And that's what you want to do. Dream big. Make it real. And so I'm going to leave you with that today. Dreams are priceless. Yes, Facebook user. Yes. This is so on time. I am so glad, Facebook user. Listen, guys, if you give StreamYard permission, I'll be able to see your name and I can acknowledge you with that. Okay, so give it permission, then I can see your name. Listen, guys, life's too short. It's too short to just allow yourself to simply just exist. We all have a specific purpose here on this earth. There is a reason that you're here. And it's your responsibility to tap into it and to find out what it is. You are perfect. There is perfection locked up within you. And all you need to do is realize it. Bring it to the surface. It's dormant right now. But with the knowledge and understanding and somebody like myself who can mentor you and really show you how to do this, you will open up a Pandora's box of life and start to live instead of simply just existing. That is my want for you. So I want to pass this over to Natalie. She's going to give you guys a list of homework to work on, because guys, listen, while I enjoy this, and I love this. This is my passion, guys. I'm living my dream. I'm living my best life right now. But I'm not here merely to entertain you, okay? I want you to take action with this. And so watching me is not enough. You got to take action. I've created a workbook for you guys that I really want you to take seriously. Answer the questions in these workbooks. Listen to Natalie with what she's asking of you and do the stuff. Get involved in this. Listening, there's a lower chance that it's going to stick and that anything is going to change for you. But if you get involved, put pen to paper, answering the questions on that workbook, there's magic in the pen. Okay? Stay blessed. Natalie, I'm going to pass it on over to you.
Hi, everybody. So today was amazing. There was so much insightful information that I am definitely going to be integrating into my life, and I hope that you can do the same. But results cannot be seen unless you're doing the work that goes along with it. So with that, I want to introduce day one's homework. Today, I want you to introduce yourself into the group and share your goal. Now, when you're sharing your goal, I want you to say it in the present tense. So, for example, I am so happy and grateful now that, and then that's when you'll introduce your goal. So, that is today's homework. Pretty simple, pretty easy. And the more you do the homework and everything, you will see results. It's all about working on yourself. Now, for my favorite part, the prize. So today's prize is a self-development book, which based on today's information is something that everybody could use. And today's winner is Doug Arscott. Now, there were so many people that were active and leaving comments, and I love to see it. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to see a lot of them because I just saw Facebook user. So for future reference, make sure to give StreamYard permission. In the description, there's a little link. You'll just click on it and you can give them permission. And that way we can see your name and you can be entered into the draw and you'll have a better chance at earning prizes like this. And just between us, tomorrow's prize is very exciting, so make sure to tune in tomorrow. Give StreamYard permission so that we can see your name and enter you into the draw, and hopefully you'll win something exciting, much like Doug. I hope everyone has an amazing day, and I hope that you learned so much. Thank you so much for your time.